Welcome back to the program. The authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo have started distributing a new oral drug to fight against sleeping sickness. The disease caused by a parasite that attacks the nervous system is fatal if it's not treated. It affects at least 8 million people in about 30 different African countries. Congolese health officials, together with pharmaceutical companies and non-governmental organizations, have been working on the drug called fexidazole for 10 years. It is a 10-day oral treatment taken daily, which the patients can administer themselves. The authorities have started distributing it across the country. Sleeping sickness, or human African trypanosomiasis, is transmitted by the bite of an infected tsetse fly. The early stages of the illness is similar to malaria, with fever, muscle pain, and headache. A number of boarding schools in Malawi have closed and sent their pupils home ahead of a court ruling next week about the country's disputed election. Opposition parties are challenging the re-election of President Peter Mutharika in May last year, and the judiciary has announced that its decision will be announced next Monday. The schools say they fear there may be violence in the aftermath of the ruling. Leading bus companies have also issued notices saying there will be no services on the day of the judgment. Malawi has been experiencing an unprecedented wave of political violence since the poll. The information minister has also called for calm, saying the government has put in place measures to ensure all citizens are safe. The UN Secretary-General's envoy for youth has met with young South Sudanese people on her trip to the country. First on the agenda was a meeting at the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports, where the UN envoy on youth sought to understand how South Sudan government can help young people promote peace and security in the conflict-affected country. At the launch of a $1.5 million UN-funded peace project, young people also spoke about their efforts to be ambassadors for peace, with focus being on the role that women can play in the peace process, given the commitment to the 35% representation in the peace deal signed by parties in September 2018.
The most people who suffer is the girls and the women. And I ask myself, why are women called as second participants rather than first?
We are working on ending child marriage because child marriage is causing a lot of havoc for small girls below the age of 18 because they will be forced out of education to get married, yet they are still children. That's why we developed the roadmap to end child marriage by 2030. So that the number of women that are educated increase in South Sudan.
When we talk about young women's involvement, when we talk about girls' empowerment, I think it's very important to situate young women and girls as right holders, as equal partners, and those who have in their own right their own lived experience and expertise that they can bring to their families, to their communities, and to South Sudan as a country as a whole.
In my community, when the rest of the members, like these young youth, they used to fight together, abuse each other, I call them down and I give them down, I advise them the importance, like why, if all of us were one nation and one people, why should we all behave like brothers and sisters by not quarreling to each other?
Well, back here in Nigeria, capacity constraints have bedeviled many small-scale rice farmers and millers across the country for years. And despite government measures designed to spur rice production over the years, demand still outstrips domestic supply.
Thomas Maji is planting rice on more of his land than ever on his farm in Nigeria's Benue State to take advantage of resurging prices since the country shut its land borders in August. But he says he cannot go much further. With no machinery or irrigation, limited manual labor and no spare cash for fertilizers, the 45-year-old is not expecting any dramatic change in fortunes. His workers nearby beat hand-harvested stalks on the ground to separate the grains from the chaff.
We don't have tractor. We have not been accessing fertilizer. We have not been accessing chemicals. and all that. Even the harvester. We have not been accessing any. So our production is very low. But if those things are provided, we'll have a bumper harvest.
The constraints Maji faces have bedeviled many rice farmers and millers across Nigeria for years. Despite government measures designed to spur rice production, farmers like Maji are getting less from their land than their counterparts elsewhere, and the nation is only minimally less reliant on imports.
Corruption now has a new name, so says the Oxford English Dictionary, and that name is chop. Hailing from the streets of Nigeria, the verb meaning to illicitly make money was added to the Oxford English Dictionary this month, along with 28 other phrases like rob mines, a synonym for confer. It is the first time Nigerian English has made an appearance in the dictionary.
They are Greek.
Barbing salons and
Downfall.
Nigerian English has made its first appearance in the Oxford English Dictionary, with the inclusion of 29 words and phrases.
Chop, quick.
To chop, meaning to illicitly make money or to eat.
Kumbo.
And tokumbo, denoting an imported second-hand product, are among the additions, coming after the country's culture exploded globally in recent years. Author T.G. Benson says getting such recognition has not been easy, but that it is important.
Many people might take it for granted, but it forms a large part of our identities. And when it is being suppressed, or we are being told that there is a better way, or this is what is correct and then this is what's not correct, I think it affects us and it also demeans us.
A number of the additions hail literally from Nigeria's streets, such as buka and mamaput for roadside street stalls. And Okada, the motorcycle taxis, a mode of transport stemming from the massive traffic jams for which Lagos is internationally notorious. The term is a reference to Okada Air, a former airline in Nigeria that had a reputation as a fast and potentially dangerous form of transport, the dictionary said.
Well, that's it on the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Layo Adegoke. Bye for now.